Hi, Cancer, Sun, Moon, Ascendant, or Venus. This is Dane, and I'm going to be doing your January 2022 Mercury Retrograde reading for you. Now, I ask if this reading resonates with you. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you're interested in any of the cards that I'm using, they will be listed and linked in the description box below. And if you hear any snoring in the background, that is my dog Esme, so don't let her bother you. All right. So now let's clear the energy space, raising our own energy vibration and releasing any negativity. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. Releasing all negativity from the body like storm clouds, letting yourself feel calm, centered, and at peace as we enter into this safe and loving space. So let's see what the tarot has to say. How will Cancer be affected by the January 2022 new moon? Not new moon, Mercury retrograde. How will Cancer be affected by the January 2022 Mercury retrograde? Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. At the bottom is our rooted self. The left-hand side is our inner self. The middle, our heart, our emotional self. The right-hand side, the public arena, the public self. So let's see what the cards have to say. We have Judgment, and we have the Fool, which is a beautiful way to be going into Mercury retrograde. We're really being risen up into a new role, into a new passion, into what we deeply desire. Then we have the Four of Wands and the Page of Cups. The Four of Wands is a celebration. The Page of Cups is being a student of ourselves. We're represented by the cups in the minor arcana, by the Chariot in the major arcana. And it's very interesting. We're ruled by the moon. So that's why the new moon came up when I shuffled first, because there's just this energy of change and of evolution that's coming forward, and that's the imagery that was given to me instantaneously. So that's going to be very powerful here. We're going to be learning a lot. We then have the Chariot, which is us coming forward, and this is the essence of us. This is us in the major arcana. So this is quite powerful. And then we have Virgo energy, which is the Hermit, and we're going to have us turning inward, looking inward, really looking at our hearts, what we want. We had thought we wanted one thing, and this Mercury retrograde is going to show us quite another. We then have the Seven of Cups, which is our dreams in the public arena, the Page of Pentacles, which is Earth sign energy, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, and the Wheel of Fortune. Now let's look at the energy we need to be mindful of during this time. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. And this is the Princess of Pentacles. So we need to be mindful of immature energy. Ooh, I'm so sorry. Immature energy around money, around prosperity, around the way that we look at our fortune and ourselves and what we want from our lives, and the way that we're embracing our own worth. We're also going to have people in our lives who aren't as developed around money, around, what to do next type of thing. And they're going to really talk as if they do. They're going to really talk as if they know exactly what they're doing, exactly how it needs to be. So we have to be very mindful who we trust during this time. We then have our chakra energy. Angels and spirit guides show me clearly. And this is self-mastery. The self-mastery is the solar plexus chakra. And this is really listening to ourselves. We come through so powerfully here as a student, as the essence of ourselves within our heart. And this is really a time for us to embrace our own growth and to let ourselves move forward in our energy, in what we desire, in who it is that we are. We're embracing self-mastery. We're embracing the fact that we know ourselves better than we think we do. So let's talk about this time, astrologically speaking, for a little bit. Now, on the 14th of January, we have Mercury going retrograde. So before Mercury goes retrograde, we have a pre-shadow period. And this is kind of the energy that sets the tone for Mercury retrograde. And what's very interesting in this pre-shadow period is that we want the answers. We want the answers for everything. We want everything to be settled and set up and just moving forward to it. And that's going to be the Capricorn energy that comes up during this time. We are also looking for the answers, but we are not ruled by, but yeah, Saturn comes through very, very strongly. It's the ruling planet of Capricorn, and Saturn is in Aquarius. So we have this kind of disagreement here around rules and around freedom. And so that's going to be something that we're looking at. It's like, how do I follow a script, or how do I follow things in such a way that I can move forward into the freedom, into the expression, into what I desire within my life? And the thing is that we're going to be a little bit too regimented. We're going to think, okay, if I make this, checklist, if I have a to-do list, everything has to be done or else I'm a failure. And that's just not the way life works. So we have to be more open, more easygoing with ourselves. We also have the balancing energy of Jupiter coming in Pisces, and this makes us very friendly, very caring, very nurturing. So it's really a beautiful energy to counterbalance this kind of neuroticism that is around us, where, oh my gosh, I just have to have everything being perfect. And then we have Neptune in Pisces. Now, Pisces is ruled by Neptune, so this is very important. And Neptune is known as the lord of the invisible kingdom. We have our dreams and our wishes coming forward. One of them, is a kingdom, is a castle in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck. And so what we're really going to be focusing on is our heart's desire, is our dreams, is our self-expression. And it's lucky for us that we have the Capricorn energy coming in to really ground us and say, okay, how do we make this practical? But not how do I make this so practical that I take away all my joy, that I take away all my passion, that I don't know what I want anymore. So that's going to be a very important theme that comes forward. Now, on the 14th of January to the 4th of February, we have Mercury in retrograde. Now, Mercury is in Aquarius, and this is a positive energy placement for Mercury, because we need to be able to express ourselves through language, through words, which is language, but it's also going to be through languages. Like, we need to have the heart of the essence of the thing there. So it might not be that we speak multiple languages, but we need to have that emotion of communication brought forward. And that's going to be something that is really important for us. Words are going to be very important. Ideas, concepts, whatever it is that has us thinking and moving outside of the box. That's going to be where we thrive. Now, even though Mercury is comfortable in Aquarius, when Mercury is in retrograde, we can find the breakdown of communication all the more frustrating, all the more overwhelming, because it's like, oh no, it's not supposed to be going that way. And as a person, though, who is used to change, we're ruled by the moon, right? Cancer. So we're used to the sense of, I go through phases in my life. I have phases within the month, right? I have the different phases that I bring forward. It can make us we can deal with Mercury retrograde a little bit easier. It doesn't mean that internally we're going to feel as comfortable with it as we want to. Now, we still have Jupiter and Neptune in Pisces, which gives us that beautiful, caring, nurturing prospect, but also that deep connection with our dreams and what we want and how we're, really desiring to move forward within our lives. We then have Venus in Capricorn. Now, Virgo is ruled by Venus, so this does amplify the energy for us. And this makes it hard for us to express our feelings, which is really something that does not help a Mercury retrograde, and also is something that does not help a Cancer. We need to express our feelings. We can almost kind of get too involved with how to express our feelings, how to express our hearts and ourselves, and, too concerned with the way that other people are viewing us, or making sure that everything is just like as clear as we can possibly make it. So just be mindful of that. This will also make us rather secretive, because we can't express ourselves the way that we want to. And so we're going to think, oh, I'm just going to hold it to myself. Or it can make us rather withdrawn, because it's like, oh my gosh, it's just not going to work out the way that I wanted to. So, just forget it. So feelings of anxiety can definitely arise during this time. Now, Mercury is going to be trine the moon, which is very important for us, because again, we are ruled by the moon. We will have good memories and a peaceful soul and good communication skills. But because Mercury is in retrograde, we feel like we almost get there. We almost get to where it is that we want to be, and then everything falls apart. There's just a breakdown. And that's going to be something that's very hard for us, because we want everything to move so smoothly, and we care so much about we care more almost about other people than we do ourselves. So that's going to be something to be aware of during this time. Mercury is also going to be conjunct Saturn. Now, we will find ourselves distrusting our own abilities and our imagination. We're going to think, okay, it has to be just perfect, it has to be practical, and if it's not that, then it's not worth anything. We're not going to go through the messy creative period, but we're also not going to be able to say it's not as perfect as I imagined it in my head, which it will never be. But it is something rather extraordinary. So we have to kind of take the word perfection out of our vocabulary at this point. Mercury is going to be squared Uranus. Now, this makes everyone astoundingly opinionated. Everybody thinks they're right, you're wrong, just do it my way and everything will be fine. And this brings a lot of frustration, and it also puts everybody on attack mode or fight or flight mode. So just be aware of this. It also, we have this tremendous sense of, I have a problem, I need to solve it, but then we're going to be, kind of distracted by something else, and our attention is going to be pulled, and we're never going to go back to it. So just be aware of that. And it can be because of the headache that it's causing us, the fighting that it's causing. So just be aware of that, Cancer, that we don't let something really good fall through our fingertips just because people are so combative during this time. And we don't like that combative energy within ourselves. We can really feel like this is making me fight. This is, like really upsetting my heart and my soul, and that's not where I want to be. Now, from the 4th of February to the 24th of February, we have the post-shadow period. It's kind of like the time that it takes to really heal from everything that Mercury retrograde has brought forward. And the moon is going to be sextile Mercury. Now, this brings peace and intelligence. We have to step out of our own egos to be able really to see what we truly want and where it is that we truly need to be within our lives, which is going to be very important. And that's going to come up very strongly because, again, we're ruled by the moon. Mercury is going to be sextile Neptune. Now, this has us, having amazing imaginations, yet we can find it hard to bring these ideas to life. And again, we have to have this idea of I need to make it perfect. And that's just going to be a theme that comes around us. I need to make it perfect. Mercury is also going to be conjunct Pluto. Now, this alignment brings chaotic thinking because our subconscious and our conscious the thinking process are intertwined. So we're going to be looking at things and like subconsciously, our inner self is going to see it this way, our outer self is going to see it this way, and we're going to get everything intertwined in a way that makes sense for us. But people don't know exactly where we're coming from. So we're going to find that very frustrating. And we're going to think, oh, if I just, explain it little enough, if I just break it down, then they'll understand me. And we're just going to spend way too much time wanting to explain things. And also, it's not going to make that much of a difference. People are still going to be confused. The MC is squared Mercury. Now, this makes us intelligent and business savvy. It also makes us likable, but we're going to be restless in our pursuits for things and easily scattered, easily distracted. So just be mindful of that. Mercury is trine the North Lunar Node, and this makes us very curious about ourselves and about others. We really want to know the whys and the how comes about things. We want to open up our mind and dive deeper and dive deeper. Criticism won't be as big a deal because we'll be so open to like the bigger question and focus on the bigger question. It doesn't mean that we don't remember it. So just be mindful of that. We might carry things for quite a long time with the Mercury in the North Lunar Node if we're not seeing things progressing the way that we need to, the way that we want to. And it leads us to this place where judgment is coming forward. We're hearing our angels call us during this time and raise us out of a darkness, out of a doubt, out of a fear, out of something chaotic that is holding us back. And that's going to be really important for the place that we need to move forward in, for what it is that we truly desire for ourselves, the bigger picture of what we're looking for. And so this becomes a very powerful thing. It's kind of like, if I can listen to that inner voice, if I can keep that inner voice guiding me and not let my ego take over and not let anger come in and not let myself feel resentful or overwhelmed, then I'm going to find that things can be extraordinary. It's just going to be sifting through all the other voices that wind up talking in our heads and saying, okay, well, which one is the inner voice? Which one is the guidance? And it's going to be the quieter one. It's also going to be the calmer one. And it's going to be the one that tells you kind of the things that necessarily we don't want to hear. That, maybe you need to step back from this, or maybe don't be so reactionary towards this and look at it this way. And we're going to think, what do you know? And yet it's spirit energy, so it knows it all. So just be mindful there. And then we have the Fool. We have this beautiful way of moving forward towards our dreams. There's really, during this Mercury retrograde, it's like something new is happening. And we're looking at ourselves and saying, I need to head in this direction. I need to go after this. And we're not necessarily going to know why or really be even that understanding of ourselves during this time. We're going to think, no, it has to be done a certain way. We're really going to want to stick to the rules and stick to the game plan. But the Fool doesn't necessarily have the same game plan as everybody else. It's like, let me be creative, let me be innovative, let me look at things and go off in the way that I need to. What we need to remember is that every single hero's journey begins with that person being a fool, begins with that person being mocked, begins with that person not being fully understood. And they're going to go and face trials and tribulations. Think of Perseus going to slay Medusa, right? He's going to face things that he hasn't faced before, and that nobody has come back, nobody has survived to be able to tell him how. And so this is going to be a time where we do need to improvise. So we need to not be so rigid with ourselves. That's going to be very important. Also, with the Fool, it's kind of like, do I have the faith in myself to let myself walk my own path, to let myself move forward this way, to let myself go after what it is that I truly need for me, for my heart, for my soul, for what I desire within my life. And it brings us to the Four of Wands. We're really being told to celebrate ourselves, to look at what it is that we deeply want, to look at the way that we're moving forward and who we are and where it is that we need to be. And, not sit there and say, it can only be this way. It's kind of like, I need to open up the doors because this can bring new opportunities. The Four of Wands can bring moving house. It can bring, what can it bring? It can bring new job opportunities. It can bring a romance. It can bring deeper commitments within our relationships. And we have to be open to that, or else they're just going to pass us by because it's not going to fit into the box the way that we want it to. And it's going to be it's so interesting that we can be so stubborn during this time. But, Cancer, we are so giving, we are so caring. And if we think that by giving and caring in this certain way, that it's the best way, we're going to be rather myopic during this Mercury retrograde. So just be aware of that. Even with our conversations to others, there's going to be this sense, this energy that comes forward. Again, I'm right, you're wrong, listen to it like this, or you're just not seeing it the right way. And we can see that in the planetary alignment with Mercury squared Uranus and Mercury conjunct Pluto. But we're really going to have to kind of fight against that during this time. And it brings us to the Page of Cups. And the Page of Cups is the sense of, I am a student of my heart. And we're going to find ourselves really being a student. We are represented by the cups in the minor arcana. Again, the Chariot in the major arcana. And this is a time where the student energy, where the learning, the understanding, the breaking down barriers, the opening up new ideas is so important to us. It's not going to be the way that it once was. And that's going to be the game changer for us. It's really going to be the sense of, am I moving forward towards what I need? Am I embracing who I truly am? Am I really looking at my heart, and why are all these emotions coming up? And how do I move forward? And how do I see me? How do I understand me? How do I love me? The way that I need to be loved, the way that I need to be seen and heard. Because we can get that from external sources, right? But we really need to get it internally to say, I see who I am. I see what I love. I see what I want. I see what I need for myself. And that becomes something that we learn about us. This is a time where we're really learning a lot about what makes us, Cancer. And then we have our heart being told, take all the chaotic emotions that Mercury retrograde brings up because we're not communicating properly, because, travel plans get messed up, because, emotions are misread at this time. Everything that goes on with the act of communication, the act of travel, the act of new ideas coming forward. And let me rein in my ideas. But we have to be really mindful to do it up to this certain point before we become dogmatic, before we become, stifling to our own creativity. And so the Chariot comes in and it says, the waters run freely, but I am reining these in, like Mamanon, the god of the sea in Celtic mythology. I am looking at the sea. I'm looking at this vastness of emotions and interactions and understandings, and I am reining in what is important, powerful, and purposeful to me. And as we do this emotionally, we need to really turn inward and let ourselves be flexible with our ideas and let ourselves not have to be, kind of show offy even to us. It's like, oh, I'm going to have to fix this because I'm going to know that I fixed this in record time, or I did this the right way, or I, moved this forward. This is going to be a time where it's like, let the ego go. If we wind up taking longer than we thought we were going to take, that's okay. If we wind up not having it move the same way that we thought it was going to move, that's okay. But I need to open up this mindset, this understanding for me. And for some of us, we might be saying, Dean, it's not okay. I have time restraints. I have things having to work a certain way. We need to step back. We need to step back. And if things have to be done on a certain day, that's fine. That is absolutely fine to really have those deadlines be so important to us. But we need to not be so militant to ourselves during this time, because it's water energy. We need to flow. We need to expand. We need to gain an understanding. And it moves us to our dreams in the public arena. Here we have choice and instinct and passion and extremes coming forward as we embrace the Seven of Cups. And we're going to look at the choices that we're making. We're going to look at the dreams that we have. We're going to look at the instinct that drives us, what we truly want, where it is that we truly want to be, the extremes that we're going to go towards these dreams and think, okay, it's all or it's nothing. And again, we have to stop doing that to ourselves. It's going to be so powerful during this time, and yet it's going to be so harmful. But we're also taking our dreams off the back shelf. And instead of saying, you know what, I'll have time for you later, we're starting to say, well, why can't I have time for you now? Why can't I make the world that I want now? Like, why can't I open up this door now? And it brings us to the Page of Pentacles. And here it says talent and skill and money. And again, it repeats that like a mantra, talent and skill and money. We're going to be looking at our own talents, our own skills, the way that we call in our prosperity, whether that be money or something we value as much as money. And we're going to be saying, how? How do I move this forward? How do I embrace what it is that I want? How do I look at myself in this new way? And how is it that I'm, putting these cornerstones together, that I'm putting these building blocks together and making a solid foundation? This is not a time where we know everything. This is not a time where we are the leader. We are the student. We lead our hearts, which is astoundingly important because nobody can have sway or say over that. But we cannot pull ourselves in 18 million different directions just because we think, okay, maybe that person will have a good idea. That person will have a good idea. We need to focus it down. But again, we're going to go from one extreme to another, from saying, oh my gosh, I need to take in everything and learn everything and see everything, to I need to just do this one thing. And if this one thing doesn't work, then I'm going to make it work type of deal. So just be aware of that, because we're going to be looking at how to grow our own wealth. And we're going to come up against a challenge during this time. And we see this here in the energy that we have to be mindful of. We're going to come up against this challenge that says, well, can you? Can you possibly move forward the way that you wanted to? Can you possibly open up this door the way that you need to? And what Spirit is saying is, if we step back and we let ourselves connect, yeah, we're going to be able to find the answer. But if we are so busy with everybody else and so busy, trying to prove ourselves to everybody else, the answer won't come. And the answer might be, it's not time. The answer might be step back more. The answer might be stop living in the past. The answer might be stop comparing yourself to other people. It could be something that seems so trivial, that seems so like, well, of course, but that's not what I'm doing. I'm just giving myself something to compare and contrast against. And Spirit is saying here, no, but you are, living in the past. You are being too harsh on yourself. And it brings us to the Wheel of Fortune. We're really going to find things change. And this says karma and destiny. And that's what's coming forward, our karma, our destiny, what it is that we desire, where it is that we need to be, what we've put into the universe and what we're getting out of the universe, and how we're looking at ourselves, how we're starting to understand ourselves. And it's like, oh. And we're going to feel like we're on this roller coaster ride during this time, and it's going to be scary and it's going to be overwhelming at points. But it's also going to be something that says, wow, I'm really braver than I thought I was going to be. I really opened up that door, and I didn't think I was going to be able to. So there's such power and such beauty that comes during this time if we are in tune to it, if we are aware of it, because it'll be so easy just to let this time be one of aggravation, this one of, this certain thing has to be done. And if I don't do that, I've obviously failed. And we're not going to see all the other blessings, all the other opportunities that come our way. We need to not be too scattered, but we also need to not be too rigid with ourselves. That beautiful middle ground, that, Goldilocks, kind of mentality, that beautiful sweet spot needs to be embraced during this time. Our subconscious energy to be mindful of is the King of Pentacles. It is absolutely comparing ourselves to everybody else, saying this is how success looks like for them. This is what these people mock. This is how these people think, and I have to conform. And what if we do the thing that they laugh at? What if we, aren't like them, and yet we're desperately trying to make ourselves be? What if we let ourselves be ourselves and see what happens? Our subconscious chakra energy is the inner child. And the inner child is the heart chakra. And the inner child is saying, hold your arms open. Do a visualization. Hold your arms open to the child that you once were. And let that child run into your arms and say, I love you. I'm here for you. I will always be here for you. I will always love you. I will always care for you. And that is such a beautiful thing. That is such a beautiful gift that we can give to ourselves, because we feel safe. We feel secure. Say, you are always safe. You are always seen. You are always heard. And let you be that adult that you were longing for in your darker moments as a child, in the moments that felt really overwhelming, where you didn't see the light, you didn't see the hope. It moves us to our subconscious rooted self. And it's the Wheel of Fortune once again. This is our angels untangling so much nonsense, so much that has been mucked up, so much that has gone wrong. And there are going to be times, again, where there's a particularly tough knot, and it's going to be a bit more challenging. It's going to be like, oh, well, how do I move forward like this? How do I get through this? And it's going to be because our angels are working quite diligently to untangle all the mess that we have made, to untangle everything that has gone pear-shaped. And it's not going to be perfect. It definitely isn't. But we're definitely going to feel a shift coming, and it's going to be powerful. It moves us to our subconscious inner self. And that is, again, the Wheel of Fortune. It's that change. It's the fates. It's the way life is moving. And it's saying you can't plan for it. So it's almost like don't even try. Like during this Mercury retrograde, I'm just keep on seeing the void of course when it comes to the moon. It's kind of like the best laid plans will go astray. So just be mindful of that when it comes to you. When it comes to everything that you're setting up, when it comes to everything that you want, change is inevitable. The repeat of the number 10 now 3 times is showing us that we're coming to a completion of the cycle, that we've come to some really powerful, really intense realizations that are life-changing, that are big deals for us because they are part of the major arcana. It moves us to our subconscious emotional self, and it's the Magician. As above, so below. As you believe it, so it becomes. You have something magical to offer. You have something beautiful to offer. Let it shine. Stop trying to conform. Stop trying to be like everybody else. Look at your innate talents and say, I am worth it, because you are. It moves us to our subconscious public arena self, and that's the 4 of Swords. We need to rest. Here it says, where does it say things? Okay, rest, recovery, and quiet. And that's what we need. It goes forward like a mantra: rest, recovery, quiet. Let yourself rest, but let yourself honor the journey that you have been on, everything that you have been through, the ways that you have been overwhelmed, the trials and tribulations that you have had to overcome, the times where things went wrong and you were like, oh my gosh, how could I possibly ever get back on track? And now we're going to see that there's power to us. There's insight to us. There is new purpose to us. If only we let ourselves honor our journey, honor our story. We are so quick to honor everybody else's and just to completely ignore our own. And that's not cool. All right, Cancer. I hope this reading has resonated with you. I wish you nothing but light, love, peace, and happiness. May harmony always be with you. I'm sending loving, healing energy to each and every one of you. I love you all, and stay safe. Let's end this reading with a meditation, a clearing away of negative energy, a raising of our positive energy as we embrace the power and the intensity of this Mercury retrograde. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. May you move forward in peace and in harmony, Cancer.